between the release of the Super Nintendo and original Nintendo, the original brick-sized pea green screened Game Boy had come out as well. I didn't really play too much of it because it was such a clunky system for my little hands. It wasn't until the release of the smaller Game Boy Color that I started playing more handheld games. Summer of 1998. The first US introduction to Pokemon. I had Pokemon Red and picked a Charmander as my starter. I fell in love with this game and its concept. I still remember all original 151 Generation 1 Pokemon. I also had a copy of Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Yellow. However, I'm definitely not a hardcore Pokemon trainer like I was when I was younger. I also ended up getting a Sega Genesis towards the end of the console's life. I did not play this one as much as the Nintendo systems. I did not have a huge selection of games to play either. It was only a couple. We ended up getting the bundle that came with Sonic Spinball, and that game only amused me for one day. I don't know about you, but I could only play a pinball based game for so long before it got extremely boring. Echo Tides of Time. I had only gotten this game because you could be a dolphin, and I loved dolphins. Yeah. Didn't get very far in that one either. I couldn't figure out what I was doing half the time. It seemed our pre owned game lacked the basic instruction manual, so I was guessing at the controls. And it wasn't like you could instantly download one from the interwebs. The internet was in its infancy, and let me tell you, dial up connection sucked. I also had a Power Ranger game that followed certain events from the first season, mainly the evil Green Ranger saga. You were able to pick from the core 5 Rangers. Then you had the ability to play as the Green Ranger after breaking Rita's spell. You could also play iconic Megazord battles. It was a short fighting game that helped pass time. One other random game that I remember for the Sega Genesis was called Cool Spot. Cool Spot was the little mascot from the 7 Up company for a while. Yes, a mascot for a soda. And yes, a video game on said mascot. It was a platformer, like many other games released around that time, but you could not tell if the objects in the background or the foreground were the enemies. Everything was out to hurt you in some way, shape, or form. I don't even remember if it had a story, but I do remember everything could kill you. The levels were extremely long, and after a while got to be frustrating. I was not much of a Sony gal, so I did not partake in purchasing a PlayStation when it was released. I was a Nintendo girl. It was Mario, Yoshi, Pokemon, or nothing. It was not until the release of the Pokemon Snap N64 bundle that I started playing, at that time, the next generation of console. The overall concept of Pokemon Snap was incredible. However, it was a rail shooter. I was thinking you could get out of the car, walk around, and take pictures of Pokemon. Nope. You were stuck on a predetermined path. I am hoping that the remake for the Switch will have a more open world system. Because I, for one, would love to sneak up and take pictures of Pokemon and how I envisioned it as a child. Yoshi Story! Such an adorable game. I loved being able to pick whichever color Yoshi that you wanted. Naturally, I went for either the pink or the light blue Yoshi. Did you know that you could unlock a black and a white Yoshi as well? The music for this game was super adorable, and not to mention catchy. Nintendo of America actually released a copy of the soundtrack on an actual CD. You could order it through the Nintendo Power magazine. I was able to get that and the Super Mario 64 soundtrack for pretty cheap. However, the disc for this CD was in the actual shape of Yoshi's head. With this soundtrack being such an odd shape, it made it really hard to play in certain CD players. Mario Party! Instant favorite. Great multiplayer game. Me and my sister were brutal. By this point, somebody else was hogging Yoshi, so I went back to using Luigi as my character. Even though now I hear there's even more characters to choose from. We would play the longest possible round, just to see how many party stars we could rack up. There was one mini game where you had to rotate the analog stick extremely fast to fill a meter. Well, in the end, this ended up causing horrible blisters on your palm. Me and my sister ended up easing the pain from that mini game while wearing little grippable gloves. However, I do remember them issuing a statement about that certain mini game. And all I can remember from it was them saying just wear a glove. Well, duh, we figured that one out before they even said it. Now there's what, 10 Mario parties in the main series and a couple handheld releases. The last title in the Mario Party series that I played was 4 or 5. Unfortunately, I can't remember. It's good to see that it's still going on. The Nintendo 64 was also the introduction into Nintendo's fighting game, Super Smash Bros. 64. Being able to play as Pikachu and have them fight against Mario or Bowser made the fangirl in me extremely happy. It also made another great multiplayer party game. Me and my girlfriends would have tournaments. Weekend fun with endless caffeine. The first commercial that they released for the Smash Bros. 64 game was pretty epic in itself. The song Happy Together by the Turtles plays in the background. The commercial featured giant mascots of Donkey Kong, Mario, Yoshi, and Pikachu prancing through a field. And then they start beating each other up. It was hilarious. Still one of the best commercials to this day. Zelda. Ocarina of Time. Epic. This game got me started into the Zelda franchise, and it hooked me hard. I fell in love with this game and would play it over and over and over. I ended up playing it so many times, I memorized every single dungeon like the back of my hand, including the water temple, which I absolutely hated. I ended up getting turned around so many darn times in that temple that I almost rage quit during the first playthrough, but I stuck through it. I absolutely hated those re-deads and Under the Well. I loved the Forest Temple, the Fire Temple, and the Spirit Temple. I also loved the concept of being able to go back and forth between times. When Ocarina of Time Master Quest was released, it was a breath of fresh air. After playing the original for so long and knowing every single route, it was super awesome to see them change it up. I remember saying to myself that the water temple in Master Quest has to be brutal. Nope, that was the easiest friggin' temple ever. I was flabbergasted. In fact, I still am. The music to this game is my absolute all-time favorite game score. I don't care what version the song is, or even if it's a remix. I love every single one. When Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask came out in October of 2000, holy crap. I was excited because it was supposed to be the sequel to Ocarina of Time. I even had it pre-ordered and got the special gold edition with the holographic sticker. I played through the game and ended up not loving it as much as I did Ocarina. Yes, I did feel that it was darker and a little grittier, but it was just not my cup of tea. I found myself not replaying it as often as I did Ocarina. The music for Majora's Mask was still pretty epic, so I ended up enjoying the music more than I did the actual game. GameCube! This was the first system that I saved my own money up for. I wanted that system. I was hyped for the games and potential. So many good games were released for this little cube. This little system by far has to be my all-time favorite Nintendo system. This little system featured a lot of different titles. Some of my favorites include Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, Eternal Darkness, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil Zero, Pikmin, the usual suspects of Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, as well as Animal Crossing. This system introduced me into the Resident Evil series. I knew nothing about this game, or that it even existed. I did not even know this was a complete remake of a previously released title. This was another game I knew every single nook and cranny of, both Jill and Chris's story. I loved the use of the different camera angles to make it look more scary and ominous. I loved the puzzles. And it didn't bother me that I had to run back and forth multiple times to finish a puzzle or unlock a new area. It didn't even bother me that I had to carry ink ribbons to save. You know what bothered me about the game? Spencer's Mansion. Why the hell do you have a house that big, that massive, that takes up so much real estate, and have one single bathroom? And a tiny bathroom at that. A bathroom on the first floor. The damn cabin that housed Plant 42 had 3 bathrooms. And that cabin was a quarter of the size the mansion was. But I digress. By the time Zero was released, I was riding the Resident Evil hype train front and center. This was a prequel to the game I had just fell in love with. Rebecca Chambers? Hell yeah. The switching system between characters was a little on the strange side, but it was easy to adapt to. It was here that I knew that I would want to play all the rest of the titles. Except, I had one small problem. I didn't have a PlayStation. Lucky for me, they ported the main titles to the GameCube, but those were next to impossible to find. And by the time that I ended up getting my hands on them, Resident Evil 5 was getting ready to release. To this day, I still enjoy the series and cannot wait to see where it will take us now. I am waiting in anticipation for news and juicy tidbits of Resident Evil 8 Village. Animal Crossing. I did not think this game would appeal to me at all. Boy, I was wrong. I should have known since I enjoyed the Harvest Moon titles and the cute adorableness that they gave to a simulation title. It was such a simple concept. Do your daily chores, pay off your debt to a raccoon overlord, interact with your villagers who were various different animals, catch bugs and fish to help increase the exhibits of the museum, and then get into further debt by remodeling your house. I don't even remember who my original villagers were. I may have had Bill, but I can't be certain. Many incarnations have been released since the GameCube, including the newest title for the Switch, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I may or may not have accumulated a good amount of hours into already. Check the description below for the link to my Dream Suite address if you care to check out my own town. When it comes to Animal Crossing, I even play the Pocket Camp mobile game. Yes, it's adorable. And it's addicting. And it's one of the only mobile games that I play. Because it's Animal Crossing. Eternal Darkness was a hidden gem of the survival horror game. I still remember many of the areas being very dark, gritty, and overall cringy. It was a very good game. It just left me feeling creeped out all over, but in a good way. The biggest thing that I remember from that game, besides playing throughout different periods of history, was that leather bound book. I swear, to me, it looked like it was stretched with human skin and not animal leather. Then again, they never did confirm if it was animal leather or human leather. And there were like bones wrapped around the spine of the book. And it had this creepy eye that would follow you. Yeah, it's creepy remembering it now. But overall, a very good game. The biggest disappointment? There was no follow up. Nothing ever became of the title, other than this one single game. There were no remakes, no ports to other systems, no sequels, and it's really a shame, because they had a good thing going with it. There was actually a good number of different fighting games released for the GameCube as well. I ended up having a small amount of different titles despite not being one to enjoy fighting games. Of course, Super Smash Bros. Melee, because hello, it was Smash Brothers. Bloody Roar, a fighting game where humans turn into anthropomorphic animals? Yes, please. Soul Calibur 2. Okay, the only reason I got this was for Link, but it was still a pretty good fighting game. If memory serves me correctly, this was around the time that I dabbled in MMORPGs, such as Ultima Online or Ragnarok Online. However, MMOs were not my cup of tea at all. I actually enjoyed watching someone else play rather than me slaving away at a character. But speaking of computer gaming, instead of the console gaming that I have been talking about, Mario and Friends had actually taught me how to type. My computer class consisted of playing Mario Teaches Typing. Who else got to go to school and basically sit around and play a Mario game while actually still learning how to type? The concept was so simple, and it taught you the different keystrokes. Tell you what, it sure helped me. For computer gaming, I found myself being drawn more to the simulation games. And all of these games were from Maxis, with titles such as SimCity 2000, SimFarm, SimAnt, SimLife, SimCopter, and SimTower. Of course, I enjoyed playing the original SimCity. However, out of all of them, I absolutely loved playing SimFarm, a simulation game where you build and raise your own farm within SimCity. You had the ability to pick any region within North America and could grow different crops and fruits, raise different animals. Then again, with it being a sim title, it would not be complete without disasters to impede your progress, such as tornadoes, locusts, droughts. Playing these titles eventually led up to the release of The Sims. I would not mind a new Sim Farm or SimCity title. The Sims was fun, but I found it more fun to construct and decorate houses than actually playing the game. I also remember the game being a complete resource hog, with all the expansion packs and downloadable items you could add. The initial loading time felt like an eternity. Since the release of the original Sims game, I haven't played any of the newer versions. This is where I'm gonna end this. I do not wish to bore you with my complete and detailed account on gaming. I would just like everyone to know that I have been around a few game genres and a wide variety of different systems. I'm not new to playing games at all. I am doing this for the love of the game and the love of the story. I'm not one who enjoys competition gaming. I like to have fun while trying to play something. And on that note, please remember to comment down below. All feedback is welcome. Throw a like if you enjoyed this, or a dislike if you did not. Subscribe if you are interested in anything that I'll be doing on this channel. And be sure to share with your friends. I will catch you all later. See ya!